Hey y'all, welcome to Robyn on the Farm. Today I want to show you how I make my very own homemade cream of chicken soup. These little cans of cream of chicken soup have gotten so expensive. They're full of all kinds of things that I can't pronounce. And so many recipes call for these little cans of cream of chicken soup. It wasn't until I realized that these cream of chicken soups, cream of mushroom, cream of celery, these are all just basically gravies. And I can make gravy super simply with very, very few ingredients. So I have a great recipe for cream of chicken soup that I use all the time now in place of these. I have a couple of these left that I just keep on hand for convenience for emergencies. But the homemade version of cream of chicken soup is delicious. I would never just crack this open and take a spoonful to take a little bite of this. No, that's gross. But for my own homemade kind, I could just eat it by the spoonful. It is so tasty, it's so good. So I need to make some cream of chicken soup to use in a recipe later on today, so I'm just gonna show you how I make it. It's super fast, super delicious. It only takes about 5 minutes to put together. And this recipe will make enough for the equivalent of 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. So usually a recipe will just call for 1, so I'll use half of it in a recipe and save the rest for later on in the week. So that's how I do it. Let me just show you how I make it. I'm gonna move over to my stove for this, and I will just show you how I make this homemade cream of chicken soup. All right, to make this cream of chicken soup, I like to use my little 2-quart Dutch oven. Isn't that so cute? I love this little cast iron Dutch oven. But you can use anything. You can use a cast iron skillet, you can use any kind of little pot or anything like that. But this one is like perfect size. So to get started, we need a 1/4 cup of butter. So I'm just gonna get that in there and let that melt. So that's a 1/2 stick of butter. Okay, now that this butter is totally melted, I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 cups of water. Put that right on in there with it. Okay, 2 cups of water. Now 1 cup of milk. This is whole milk. I would think the fuller fat milks are gonna work better, but I think you could probably use whatever kind of milk you want, but I always use whole milk, so that's what I know works best. Now to that, I'm gonna add a 1/2 cup of flour. And I really like this bouillon, so I'm gonna use 1 tablespoon of bouillon. And the next ingredient is pepper, so a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. And some garlic salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic salt. Okay, those are all of our ingredients. Now, we are just gonna whisk this all together and let it come to a boil and let it simmer for just a couple minutes until it's the right consistency, and that is all there is to it for our cream of chicken soup. This has only been a minute or 2, and it's getting nice and hot, and I can feel that it's starting to thicken up really nicely. Well, it's come to a boil, and it is plenty thick, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the fire. Can you see how nice and thick that is? Oh, it smells so good. So our homemade cream of chicken soup is totally done. It took less than 5 minutes on the stove. You just throw everything in, whisk it together, bring it to a boil, and by then it's already thick enough. It's totally done. So I forgot to mention, if you don't have any bouillon, you can omit the 2 cups of water and the bouillon and use 2 cups of chicken broth. Okay, so that works great. But I just want to take a little bite of this and try it out. It smells so good, and I cannot wait. I'm kind of worried it's gonna be too hot for my mouth, but I think it'll be okay. Okay. This is like the epitome of comfort food for me. It is warm, it's rich, it's creamy. Oh, it's just like comforting when you take a little bite of it. Wow. I just feel like this is so much healthier, so much better. It helps my recipes turn out that much better, that much more homemade and good. I like to feed my family this kind of stuff instead of this kind of stuff, because even though I feel like this has a place in my pantry because I like being prepared, I like being ready for emergencies, or even trying to get dinner on the table really, really fast. Maybe I don't have time to do this sometimes, but I feel like this is just so much better for me, so much better for my family, and I keep all of this stuff out of our bodies when I make it like this. So I'm pleased with this. Try it out and let me know how you like this homemade cream of chicken soup. I think it is fantastic. And when you make it, make sure you take a little bite of it before you use it in a recipe because it is amazing. Thank you so much for being here with me on Robyn on the Farm, and I will see you next time. I will leave the recipe for this homemade cream of chicken soup down in the description so that you can make it.